Swadika, and good afternoon to our English language audiences at home. Thank you for tuning in today to our briefing, as usual, from the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA. Today is Monday, the 20th of May, 2022. And as you are aware, or as some of you may be aware, the CCSA committee this morning was chaired by the Thai Prime Minister. The meeting, as usual, monitored the global and regional situation. And today in particular, there was a discussion in detail regarding domestic regulations and adjustments to entry into Thailand, including the streamlining of Thailand Pass system. For an overview of the situation in the country, the meeting discussed and looked at length regarding the rankings of different countries around the world. Thailand now ranks 24th globally for the number of new infections and is on a general downward trend, which is very, very heartening. Fatalities are still concentrated in the elderly and the 608 groups. The number of new infections, including those in need of intubation, has also been decreasing, and hospital occupancy rates remain low. As COVID-19 is now entering its endemic phase, very happy to note that in Thailand, the Ministry of Public Health has issued a new set of recommendations on public health measures for those who are not considered high-risk contacts. Whereas a self-quarantine of 10 days was previously recommended for people who are not considered to be high risk, it is now adjusted to a self-monitoring period of 10 days without having to quarantine. It should also be noted, however, that the endemic designation does not mean that the disease is no longer dangerous or worrisome. The government will continue to ensure that the healthcare system remains capable of handling emergency situations. The meeting this morning also approved the reopening of nightclubs, bars, and karaoke venues as well. There was a discussion and also a decision as well to extend the use of the emergency decree on public administration in emergency situations for another 2 months, from the 1st of June to the 31st of July. And this is, of course, to ensure that we maintain and can facilitate all of the necessary public health measures to stem the spread of COVID-19 until such time that we enter truly into the endemic phase as determined by competent public health authorities. The number of new cases is expected to continue to decline, and additional relaxed measures approved at the meeting today will take effect on the 1st of June, 2022. Let me turn now to adjustments on provincial, zoning. Changes to the zoning of the provinces as well will also go into effect, as I mentioned just now, on the 1st of June, 2022. The number of provinces, as you see there on the slide in front of you, the number of provinces designated yellow or high surveillance zones will decline from 65 to 46. The number of provinces designated green or surveillance zones will go up to 14. And the number of provinces finally designated blue or pilot tourism zones will go up from 12 to 17 provinces. Regarding entry into Thailand, again, as Thailand is happily transitioning into the endemic phase of COVID, entry requirements for travelers coming to the country will be adjusted beginning on the 1st of June, 2022. They will include a streamlining of the registration for Thailand Pass, and thank you very much to my team for getting that slide up there so friends at home can follow what is going to be streamlined. And really, it has been made simpler, more convenient, and faster. So as of 1st of June 2022, foreign travelers coming into Thailand will be providing the following information, as you see there on screen: COVID-19 vaccination certificates or COVID-19 test results for unvaccinated and partially vaccinated travelers. The second, a minimum of $10,000 equivalent travel insurance that covers medical expenses related to COVID-19. And third and last, a copy of a valid passport. The second element that you see there that will surely be a welcome element is that the Thailand Pass QR code will be auto-generated immediately after registration. This will save many of you a lot of time and the worry of waiting for your QR code. So I hope this is really a welcome adjustment there. Airlines will be required to pre-check for Thailand Pass QR code prior to issuing boarding passes to travelers coming to Thailand. And of course, once you arrive in Thailand, travelers are required to go through the usual screening and checks at the airport. Another element that I would like to draw your attention to that will also help streamline the Thailand Pass process is that starting June 1st, again, Thai nationals will no longer be required to register for Thailand Pass. Thailand Pass effectively will function next month as a pre-arrival registration for our foreign friends. It is not an approval system, let me underline that. And therefore, foreign visitors, please make sure to upload the correct documents and also carry them just in case you're required to produce them and show them for verification. Until the revised Thailand Pass updates take effect on the 1st of June 2022, Thais and foreign visitors alike are still required to register with Thailand Pass and seek approval from the system. Travelers coming to Thailand before the beginning of June still need to adhere to the same entry requirements as announced earlier. Under the current mandatory measure, unvaccinated and partially vaccinated travelers who wish not to be quarantined must undergo an RT-PCR or pro-ATK test before departure. We do hope that these updates are well received. It's very important for us to also keep track of what's happening around in the neighborhood and what other countries in the region are doing. So for instance, and if I may, these adjusted entry measures for travelers, namely the proof of vaccination, travel insurance of $10,000, RT-PCR tests for those not fully vaccinated, seem to be in line with public health measures and practices in other countries in the Southeast Asian region. And if I may bring up the case in point, is that Singapore, where fully vaccinated travelers also need to prepare proof of vaccination, arrival card, and install the Trace Together application prior to arriving in Singapore. Another country is Malaysia, our neighbor, where non-fully vaccinated travelers are required to undergo the PCR test or RTK antigen test within 48 hours prior to traveling to Malaysia, and fully vaccinated travelers need to install the My Sejahtera application and verify their digital COVID-19 vaccine certificates on My Safe Travel. Certainly, we are tracking also and very happily the relaxation of many measures, and happily note that there is in fact an uptick in regional travel, and we look forward to welcoming more and more friends to Thailand. Let me return now to our usual updates, and that is an update on the general situation. The new confirmed cases for today, and we will have a slide up there very shortly. There it is. The new confirmed cases are logging in at 6,463. It's part of the downward trend. We have new recoveries outpacing that number at 7,091, and unfortunately recording the fatalities still, but at a low number of 41 fatalities. The next update we have for you, and that's a usual update again, is the list of top 10 provinces with the highest number of hospitalized COVID-19 patients. And topping that list, as usual, is Bangkok, to be followed by Ubon Ratchathani, Nakhon Ratchasima, Suphanburi, Udon Thani, and the list goes on. We will now move on to another usual update, and I apologize for that slide, maybe slow in coming up there for you. We have the vaccination progress that we are usually updating our friends with, and that vaccination progress is that the cumulative number of vaccine doses administered to people in Thailand stands at 136 million doses. The total number of first vaccine doses administered up until now amounts to 56.5 million doses, which covers 81.3% of the total population. The total number of second vaccine doses administered thus far currently stands at 52.1 million doses, and this covers 74.9% of the population, while the total number of third dose vaccines administered thus far amounts to 27.3 million, which covers a very good number of 39.4% of the total population. Before concluding today, let me leave you with a final story, and it was a story that was mentioned by the Thai Prime Minister this morning. It's a good news story, and I am happy to share with you that Thailand will serve as the new ASEAN Center for Public Health Emergencies and Emerging Diseases. That's ACFED. The center will serve as a hub to strengthen ASEAN's regional capacity for responding to public health emergencies and emerging diseases. If COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's that we need to really firm up regional capacity to fight pandemics. So this is really a good news story that we wanted to share with our audiences today. That's all the updates I have for today. Although the number of COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and recorded deaths are continuing to decline, let's err on the side of caution. Please follow the universal prevention and universal vaccination guidelines to keep you and your loved ones safe. Stay safe, have a lovely weekend ahead of you, and see you again very soon. สวัสดีค่ะ